Now that we've got the new Pixel 9 series out, I've used the cheapest version and it's actually pretty good. But then again, is it really that much better than the previous Pixel 8? I think you'll be surprised by the results, so let's go ahead and get started. As far as price goes, we're talking about $100 difference for normal pricing. Keep in mind though, the Pixel 8 has been on sale several times. I believe it's currently $549 on Amazon, so not really that much more than the more budget-friendly Pixel 8a. You've also got similar color options on both phones, and you have the same 128 gigabytes for the base model. You can also go up to 256 gigabytes on both phones. The Pixel 8 has a 6.2 inch OLED display versus a slightly larger 6.3 inch on the Pixel 9. Both are 20:9 aspect ratio and up to 120 Hz refresh rate. The Pixel 9 is a little brighter at 2700 nits versus 2000 max on the Pixel 8. I feel like both look pretty good though in most situations, so you can't really go wrong with either one. One difference you'll notice right away is the Pixel 9 is thicker. It's got a more boxy style versus rounded around the edges on the Pixel 8. It also weighs more, and I feel like the Pixel 8 is a little more comfortable to use. And then speaking of displays, you've got the fingerprint scanner right there on the front for both phones, but in my experience, the Pixel 9 works a little bit easier or is more reliable. And then obviously you can use Face Unlock on both phones as well. Not a big surprise, but because the Pixel 9 has a slightly larger battery size at 4,700 milliamp hours versus 4,575 in the Pixel 8, the battery life appears to be improved, lasting 11 hours in my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness versus 10.5 hours on the Pixel 8. But overall, both have pretty good battery life in my use. I feel like you can get about 2 days of mixed usage, obviously depending on how much stuff you'll be doing on your phone, because there's a lot of variables when it comes to battery life. But one advantage with the new Pixel 9 is it now has up to 45 watt fast charging versus only 27 watts with the Pixel 8. You also have wireless charging on both phones as well. Now, software wise, not a huge surprise here, but they're pretty much going to be identical. You've got Google Discover left of the home screen, the style of notifications where the shortcuts are. A lot of the stuff's going to be almost identical between the two. You also have a lot of the same features like Magic Editor, Magic Eraser, Photo Unblur, Circle to Search, and so on. And maybe I'm used to using Samsung phones, but I feel like these Pixel phones could use a few things like a clear all button as soon as you hit recent apps instead of swiping all the way over. And I like how on Samsung you can customize the notification shade a little bit more, and you can even make it to where you just swipe down once and you've got everything right there, or you really don't have much customization options on the Pixel phones. I'm also not sure why you can't delete where the date and weather is on the home screen or get rid of the search bar at the bottom. It's just little things like that where I think they could improve on the software. Both phones are on Android 14, August 5th security update, and usually when comparing software on an older phone, you have to realize you're losing 1 year or however old the phone is on software updates, but you get 7 years of software updates on the Pixel 9, 6 years left on the Pixel 8 since it is 1 year older now. But chances are you probably won't be using either of these phones 6 years from now, so it's kind of nice not to have to worry about how long your phone is going to get software updates. Now, performance-wise, the Pixel 8 has the Tensor G3 processor with 8 gigabytes of RAM versus the Tensor G4 processor in the Pixel 9, and it's got 12 gigabytes of RAM now, so nice improvements there. As you can see, it's got better performance when you go from the Pixel 8 to the Pixel 9, but maybe not quite as a jump up in performance as you would think. I feel like both phones are good options to do some occasional gaming, although I feel like the Pixel 8 might get a little bit warmer at times while gaming versus the Pixel 9, but it may depend on which games you're playing. If you're just checking social media, watching YouTube videos, that kind of stuff, I doubt most people are going to notice a difference in performance on these two phones. Kind of weird, but when it comes to speakers on these two phones, the older one actually appears to sound a little louder overall. It's not a huge difference, but when they're right next to each other, it's noticeable. Here's a quick sample of each just to see if you can tell a difference. When it comes to cameras, you have a 50 megapixel lens on the back of both phones. One advantage on the Pixel 9 is you have a 48 megapixel ultra wide lens versus only 12 megapixels on the Pixel 8. Then you have a 10.5 megapixel ultra wide front facing camera on both phones. You can also shoot up to 4K 60 frames per second for video recording on both phones as well. Just testing the cameras for a while, you'll notice one thing about both. They're actually really good at just pointing and shooting. You typically get good results from both of these phones, even when it's a little darker or the lighting isn't that great. I'm not sure if the Pixel 9 is a big enough upgrade over the Pixel 8, but I did notice in portrait mode, things are blurred a little bit more on the Pixel 9, so that might make it look a little bit better. Obviously, some of this comes down to personal preference, but I don't think you can go wrong with either one when it comes to the cameras. As you can see, things are quite a bit closer between these two than I think most people realize. Obviously, some of this is going to be personal preference. I feel like both are really nice options, especially if you're looking for a smaller phone. I probably prefer the Pixel 9 just because it's newer, but I don't like the fact that it's heavier, it's a little harder to hold, the speakers aren't quite as loud as the Pixel 8, and even though the design is different now, I would say the Pixel 9 is probably a better upgrade. If you're coming from an older Pixel 6 or 7, I plan on comparing the new Pixel 9 to a couple other phones yet, hopefully before the Pro version gets here, so you'll want to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.